It's 8:55 in the morning here at KXT. Stick around for the network news at 9. Wow, can't believe we are getting close to Thanksgiving. Until tomorrow, this is your morning mouth, Hunter McLeod.
The station's been sold. That was your last show.
Talk about dead air. Busboy, gas station attendant, used car salesman. 7 stations in 15 years.
Dad, I'm scared. We're gonna have to move again.
No. I'll sort something out. This fits perfectly into my 5-year plan.
So should we get you fitted for your uniform?
Kill me now.
I'd like everyone to meet our new procurement director, Connor McLeod.
Homeless shelter.
Yeah, the House of Hope.
We're gonna need $100,000 to keep the shelter open. And for Thanksgiving, 4,000 turkeys.
4,000 turkeys.
Welcome to Turkey Town.
Make that $3,999.
How are we going to find 4,000 turkeys by Thanksgiving?
We have less than a month.
He's a washed-up DJ. Those people are depending on you.
The only turkey here is this guy.
You just need a plan of action.
What I need is a miracle.
Fear not, for I am with you.
You shouldn't feel alone in this.
Go find a few thousand turkeys.
God, this is Connor McLeod here.
I'd like to make a donation to 2,000 birds.
If you could just forget about all the stupid things I've done in my life and do one of those loaves and fishes miracles, that would be really great. Nah. Starting to see a pattern.
You are such a dad. Looking good, Dad.
I hate seeing myself on TV. You really do have a face for radio.
Ouch.
Welcome to CelinaRadio.com. I'm your host, Ron Lyons, and this is the voice of Celina, Texas. Guys, welcome to another episode of CelinaRadio.com. And on today's episode, we've got 2 very special guests that happen to have had a small dream that is about to become a massive reality. That's right, we've got 2 guys that dreamed of making a movie. And what they did is combined their lives into one character, wrote a screenplay, and then decided to film it in Celina, Texas. This November, we're all going to be treated to this fantastic movie called The Great Turkey Town Miracle. Now, the 2 guys behind this movie, the 2 guys that actually wrote it based on their life experiences, are Dini and Joren Christensen. And they were kind enough to come into the studio, sit down with me, and talk all about the Great Turkey Town Miracle. They had an absolute blast filming in Celina, Texas, and this community absolutely wrapped around them. Now, here's the really cool part. We all know that Celina has been through our challenges lately. We just had an election. We've had a complete change in power in the city, and it's kind of really pulled at our seams a lot. I have a feeling that the Great Turkey Town Miracle, the movie, is going to be something we can all wrap around, and it may just bring the healing that we all need to this community. So guys, sit back, relax, and let's hop into this interview with Steve and Joren. I think you're going to have a blast listening to these 2 guys. Guys, I'm here right now with 2 guys that you don't know right now, but you most certainly will, especially coming up close to Thanksgiving this year. And that is because they happen to have this little project they've been working on, and it happens to be a movie. And sitting here with me right now, I've got Steve and Joren. Steve, how you doing, buddy?
Living the dream, Ron.
Living the dream.
And every day in Celina.
I absolutely believe that about you. For some reason, it just seems like you're the kind of guy that takes life and absolutely has a blast. Am I right?
Yeah, you've met me for 15 minutes. You got me figured out.
Absolutely. And Joren, how are we doing, buddy?
I am ready to go. Happy to be here.
All right. So you guys have something really unique. It's something that's very different. We've had a lot of different celebrities on the show and things like that over the years, but you've got a movie coming up, and it's got quite the interesting story. And we're not going to give away the ending of the movie because we're still early. So as we speak, we're sitting here right now just off the square in Celina, Texas, in a house that's pretty hot right now. So it's kind of hard right now to feel like Christmas and Thanksgiving, but the timing for the release of this movie, it actually will be very holiday-like. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to have a premiere on November 4th, and we're going to release it in theaters November 10th.
Okay, and can we say what the name of the movie is right now?
I hope we say it about 100 times. Yeah.
Okay, talk to me.
It's called The Great Turkey Town Miracle.
The Great Turkey Town Miracle. So we've got Turkey Town, so we know that's something to do with turkeys,
right?
And we've got Miracle in the name. So can I guess that this is there some sort of an element to this movie that makes it a bit of maybe a just a feel good kind of a movie? I'm envisioning like Hallmark Christmas movie kind of thing. Am I close?
You are very close, Ron, because that's exactly what's happening here. We based the movie on our intertwined lives, Joren and I, and it's based on a miracle that I witnessed when I was working at a homeless shelter in San Jose, California. And we were collecting turkeys for the homeless to give away to families on Thanksgiving. And my job was to collect 4,000 turkeys. And I didn't have it. I didn't have the turkeys.
And that's a legitimate story.
That is a legitimate story. This is a true story.
This really happened.
So on Thanksgiving Eve, we did not have the 4,000 turkeys. There was about 3,000 families who were going to be disappointed. But God intervened, and that's the miracle part.
Gotcha.
And you have to see the movie to see what the miracle is.
Exactly. You have to see the movie.
Yeah,
and so you said it's kind of a combination or the bringing together of something from both of your lives. And Joren, I'm very interested. What is the part of it that's related to your life?
Well, the main character, Connor McLeod, we kind of created a composite character between that experience that Steve experienced when he worked at that homeless shelter in San Jose and something that I experienced in my personal life. I lost my first wife back in 2013.
Okay.
And I had two young adult daughters at the time. And so we kind of created that character, that main character of our movie, Connor. He experienced that miracle that Steve experienced, but the story carried him through losing his wife, and ultimately, got this new job because he had lost his job as a radio disc jockey, which Steve also experienced at the beginning of the story.
So this is a legitimate combination of both of your lives, and that's very unique and interesting. So I have to ask, how did you guys get to know each other in the first place?
Well, back in the day, as the kids like to say,
right?
We went to the same church, Los Gatos Christian in Los Gatos, California, which is close to San Jose in Silicon Valley. And Wanda, his late wife, and Joren were in a bunch of plays and musicals that we did at the church, because in those days, and the pendulum has kind of swung back on this, Ron, the local churches don't do Christmas musicals anymore as much as we did back when we were doing it. So every Christmas we do a musical. We had an active drama department, and Wanda and Joren were in a lot of our shows. And my wife is a choreographer, assistant director, and I was the director. And Joren and I and Wanda got to know each other. And then we parted for a while. Joren moved to Colorado, and that's where Wanda went to heaven, in Colorado. And then he moved back, and we just happened to be at the same church service one day, and I saw Joren across a crowded room, and we reconnected, and he helped us sell a couple of houses in San Jose. He was in real estate at the time. And we said, let's have lunch. And then I told him about this miracle that I had witnessed. And he said, oh my gosh, that's a great story. And I said, yeah, but I can't flesh it out to 2 hours. It's not going to work. And he said, well, why don't we take my story and your story and blend it together and come up with one interesting screenplay? And I said, when do we start?
I like it. So essentially, and Joren, obviously, condolences. That's a major life event. And I'm going to ask you this, but is it your faith in God that has helped you come through all of that, and maybe in some odd way turn a tragedy into something that's going to be a blessing for so many people? Would you say that that's accurate?
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, God has brought me from a terrible, sad tragedy. Again, I had said earlier that I have 2 young adult daughters, and this was hard. They were only 20 and 22 at the time, and for them to have to lose their mom was very difficult. And we still miss her every single day. I adored my wife and still miss her, and it'll be 10 years this coming November. But God has brought a wonderful new wife to me,
and
we've been married for 5 years now. And
can we say that she's actually here with you today?
Yeah, she's
here.
She's kind of our social media guru right now.
Yeah, she's
very
a documentarian. I think
very
is what
well documenting this podcast. And unfortunately, we happen to be in a really messy room in this house right now. So
Wendy is a blessing to my life now, and so she was with us as we shot Turkey Town last year, and will be with me for many, many years to come.
Absolutely. And God bless her for being the kind of person who can understand everything you've gone through and still be willing to come in and make your life so complete. So God bless her for that. That's
absolute blessing.
It's an amazing. It's a major blessing, and I'm super excited about this movie. And I know you guys have got to be excited. We're nearing that final stretch. What is the release date anticipated?
Premiere is November 4th of this year, and the wide distribution is scheduled for November 10th.
Okay.
So we're in the final stages of post-production. We just saw the trailer, which we're really excited about because it brought together the movie in such a way that I even want to see it again, and I'm immersed in it.
You want to watch your own movie? I love it.
I would spend $11.
Oh, it's going to be great!
Absolutely,
I can't even believe it.
The trailer was just out of this world, and what's really exciting about it is because we shot most of it in Celina,
right?
In Christmas on the square,
right? Yep, Christmas on the square,
and we also were at Hey Sugar, the ice cream place where I had the best chocolate chip ice cream cone I think ever made.
Right.
We ate at Papagayo's. We went into the Toasted Walnut. What else did we do down there?
We brought the whole cast and crew for lunch one day at Tender.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good,
so
good stuff.
It was like a Hallmark movie because we hope that's a hint for them to buy it from us, by the way, because that's Christmas on the Square is right out of the Hallmark Hall of Fame.
Isn't it?
Isn't it though?
It really,
the
is.
lights and the people and the roasting chestnuts on an open fire. And
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful scene.
It's beautiful. And we had a drone shot that came in, Ron, and it was hovering just as the lights of the Christmas tree came on.
Wow.
I mean, we couldn't have timed it any better if we had planned it. And if anybody asks, we did. But you can see God working through this whole thing, the way Joren set up all the locations. He got the city involved. He worked with Celina High School. We got football players, drama kids. Great process. And Joren was amazing to put this stuff together.
We have a million thanks owed to Jill Rosa for use of the Celina ISD admin building. They let us use their building for many days, and I'm sure by the time we were finally out of there, they must have just been breathing a huge sigh of relief. And Celina High School let us shoot in their stadium and in their theater, and many thanks to the Celina advanced drama team. They were in the movie. The Celina marching band was in the movie. I gotta say, Amanda Moe from the advanced drama team, she got a line in the movie. We were thrilled to have her. She's going to be in the credits of the movie.
Nice.
It was just great. We owe thanks to Joe Monaco from the city of Celina. He helped set up so many things, especially with Christmas on the Square. Oh my gosh, the city of Celina and Celina ISD opened so many doors for us. It was wonderful working with them.
So like you were saying, you were talking about God's timing and pulling things together, all the way from something as simple as the drone shot at the perfect time to having all of these great people in these great positions that were able to kind of be a part of this and make things happen. And so there's a reason you landed in Celina, Texas, because there's a whole world out there. You could have gone anywhere else. So I'm assuming you guys, I know, Steve, you actually live in Celina, and Joren, you're a real close neighbor. You haven't gotten here yet, but we're going to work on getting you over to Celina as well. But
I have to admit, I live in McKinney. Sorry, I guess
It's okay. We don't judge.
We love our McKinney neighbors.
We don't judge.
But so Celina, outside of the fact that the Christmas on the Square thing was so amazing and everything, but how do you like Celina?
We love Celina. We are California refugees. My wife Sue and I. We did not bring our politics here. I can assure you of that. So we moved here in March of 21 to follow our grandkids. We left part of our family back there, and it was tough to leave them. They were not happy with our moving. But it's been almost 2 years now. We've been here 2.5 years, and the thing, when Californians are not used to nice people, Ron, like you, and everybody is so friendly here. The kids say, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. We were so friendly the first time we walked into Hey Sugar to get an ice cream cone. I said to the gal behind the counter, what's wrong with you? Are you all right? What's your angle, young lady?
Oh my goodness!
And she didn't have a clue what I'm talking about.
Right.
But we're just not. But the friendliness of the people is just. It's got this hometown feel.
Right.
That what America used to be.
Absolutely.
And I think would like to be again, but that may never happen. But the people are wonderful here. The service people we've had renovating our house. They're on time. They call back. They have decent prices. They bend over backwards to make you happy. We couldn't be more pleased.
So you've had a great experience.
We've had a great experience
Texas.
here. It's a wonderful town.
Joren, what are we going to have to do to get you to move over here, my friend? Sounds to me like you're missing out.
I kind of feel like that. I mean, when I was scouting locations, coming from California, I was so nervous. Walking in the door of the Shamrock gas station and walking in the door of Hey Sugar to just say, hey, we're going to be shooting a movie and we're looking for locations. And I was wondering if maybe we could possibly think about maybe using... Everybody was like, sure, we'd love you. We'd love for you to come. Oh, we'd absolutely love it if you'd shoot a part of your movie in our location.
Yeah.
There's opening doors. I was stunned.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Yeah,
It was
just so
amazing.
welcoming here.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That makes me very, very proud of this community. And I've been here for 30 years, and I've watched it go from 1,700 people up to, just the tens of thousands now. And so many people are coming here, and we all know that, we're not going to stay this small town forever.
Right.
But one thing that's very unique about this town, and something that I think is going to help us hold on to our heritage and that small town feels, this town square right here.
Absolutely. Yes.
So much is centered around this town square. We may grow big, giant neighborhoods out there and what used to be farmland and, all that kind of thing. But as long as we hold on to this, we've got an anchor to our past. And I think you guys kind of hit on a gold mine when you decided to come here and film a movie like that, because this is straight out of a Hallmark movie.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That kind of a deal. So
And it really, it just emulates through the movie too. You feel that hometown feeling right through the film. It's incredible.
It's got a great feel.
You know, all this talk about how amazing Celina is just reminds me of how absolutely incredibly blessed we all are to be a part of Celina, Texas. And my small contribution to that is not only this podcast, but I've got a group on Facebook called The Best of Celina. And it's been growing like crazy. It's definitely the fastest growing group in Celina, Texas. And the reason it's growing so fast is because it's so positive and uplifting. You can go on that group and you can meet people, find out what's going on in town. If you have a small business, you can promote your small business. It's wide open, and it's exactly what we need in Celina, Texas. Now, there's other groups out there, but boy, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to get the negative vibe on some of those pages, and that's just not present on the Best of Celina. So I would welcome you to come to the Best of Celina group page, join it, tell us who you are, be a part of that community, and get some uplifting and amazing feelings about this community that you're a part of. It's what you deserve. It's what we all love is Celina, Texas. So come out there and get your little piece of the best of Celina. Steve, you used to be a DJ.
Right.
Talk to me about that.
Well, when I got out of college, I wanted to be a jock. I wanted to be on the air. And I got drafted, spent 2 years in the Army, all expense paid trip to Southeast Asia. Thankfully, I came back in one piece. And then I went to Vietnam right after we got married. So the first 2 years of my life, Sue and I were separated. We're celebrating our 54th wedding anniversary here pretty soon.
Awesome.
Yeah, you know
Good
what the
stuff.
secret to our long marriage is, Ron?
Talk to me.
Every year, it's 2 weeks in Hawaii. I go in June, she goes in August. It's an old one, but it's a good one, right?
And it still works.
And it still works.
You got me. You got me with it.
I had you. I went to work at a little radio station. It was half gospel programming and half Spanish.
Okay.
So when the Spanish DJs didn't show up, I had to do the morning show a couple of times. And they called me El Gringo con Corazón Mexicano.
Wow.
Is what they called me.
Nice.
And so that's kind of where I got my spiritual base, because I was listening to programs like Jimmy Swaggart, Haven of Rest, Chuck Swindoll.
Oh, yeah.
And all those guys, Dr. David Jeremiah. And I started listening. And so that's how my wife and I got saved. We got saved at a matter of fact, at your church, Joren, we got saved at a Bob Harrington concert. But that's a whole different path. But I worked in radio and TV for years. I was a TV weatherman. I did a lot of commercials. And I got fired all the time. And so the fourth time I got fired, and that's what Connor does in the movie.
Right.
He gets fired like 7 times in 15 years.
Right.
I was about on that pace. And so I had been volunteering at the high school to direct their musical every spring. And the principal had said, hey, you need to be a teacher. And I said, well, what do I have to do? And she told me, and I did. And then 20 years later, they named the stage after me in the theater.
Wow. How awesome
we
is
did
that?
over 100 shows.
So I want to go back to your radio stuff. So what? So it was a Spanish-speaking station? Is that
right? Half and half. It was a little station in Santa Clara, California called KEGL, and part of the program was Spanish music, mostly Mexicano, and then the rest of the time was these religious shows. Jimmy Swaggart's Haven of Rest, Chuck Swindoll. And so my job was to play those, and then when the Spanish guys didn't show up, I did their radio shows for them. I played the first track on every album in the library.
The most unique story I've ever heard about somebody doing that. That's awesome.
That's what happened. And then, so when I finally I was at the school, but in between, I got fired once, and so I was looking for a gig, and I saw that this homeless shelter in San Jose was looking for a procurement director, which I wasn't exactly sure what that meant. But when my first meeting, I found out that it meant I had to collect all the frozen turkeys for Thanksgiving.
Gotcha.
4,000 frozen turkeys by Thanksgiving.
4,000.
Because it was a tradition in San Jose that families would line up at this shelter every Thanksgiving, and it was covered by the press, and the 49er players were there, and the newspapers were there, and everybody watched these turkeys being handed out to people along with mashed potatoes and pumpkin pie. It was my job to get the turkeys.
Gotcha.
And that's what happened with Connor. He got the job after getting fired, and then he worked at the homeless shelter, and they said, hey, you're responsible for collecting 4,000 turkeys. How am I going to do that? Well, that's your job. And that's where the movie starts.
What a unique and awesome way to get into this. So Joren, you don't have the same, like you weren't a DJ or anything like that. I understand you were like an international singer for a while or something like that. Talk to me. How in the world did you get to writing screenplays and doing movies and stuff? How does that happen?
Well, I was a church pastor for about 15 years. And way back in the early 2000s, I was on staff at a church. And one of my other associate staff members and I, way back in probably 2003 or 4, we kind of talked about writing a screenplay one time way back then. And we were raising kids and we were too busy and we just never really got around to it. But fast forward to about 20, maybe 15, and he reconnected with me, and he told me he had an idea for a screenplay that he'd like to try to write it, and he asked me if I'd help him out.
Right.
And so we wrote that together. Well, then when I ended up back in San Jose after my wife died, I was sort of telling Steve about that, and that's when Steve told me that he had the idea for Turkey Town, and asked me, well, hey, would you help me write this one? So I was kind of writing sort of 2 screenplays simultaneously.
Gotcha.
And so that's when Steve and I were writing. And so now I've written actually a number of screenplays. And at first I really just kind of thought, oh, this is just kind of a fun hobby, and thought it'd be a great time, kind of collaborating with friends.
Right.
And now it's just kind of, turned into something more real than I thought it would be.
Very, very real. Now that little, what do you call it? The teaser for the movie and stuff, that looks fantastic. The trailer. It looks really, really good. And probably by the time this podcast goes live, there's going to be a number of people who have seen that. And it looks fantastic. I'm super excited to see this. And so this is going to be a go to the movie, buy some popcorn, get you a soft drink, sit down and watch it kind of movie.
Sure.
Is that correct?
Well, we hope so. I mean, that's what we'd like to see. And then eventually we'll get some sort of streaming platform that we'll like to run it on later. Talking about the odds of us getting this done are so, I mean, the odds of winning the lottery are better than getting a movie made.
Almost,
right, Joren?
Yeah.
I mean, it's about the same.
Right.
And because I hired a writing coach when I first started, and he told me that every year in Hollywood, there's about, not with the writer's strike, of course, but in normal times, there's about 20,000 scripts that are submitted to various producers.
Wow.
Of those scripts, 1% are actually optioned, or a company will say, let's do this. Of that 1%, maybe 1% of that 1% actually gets to the theater. So the fact that we got a movie and we're getting a movie made, the odds against that are so astronomically high. It really is a miracle.
So can you tell me a little bit about, like, what is that process for you guys in this particular case? There's probably 10 different approaches that, a person could take if they were trying to do a movie, but what path, if you don't mind sharing that, what path did you guys take to get from your concept to where you are right now? What's that journey look like?
Well, the question that every screenwriter asks is, now that I've written the screenplay, what do I do with it? And my writing coach turned me on to a service called Ink Tip. And every Thursday, I subscribed to it. Every Thursday, I would get leads from production companies that were looking for scripts or movie scripts. And it used to get 15 or 20 a week, but now because of the strike, I might get 5 or 6 every Thursday. Well, we saw this producer, Angus Benfield of Bridge and Acorn Productions, who was looking for a faith-based, holiday-themed movie. And so I sent him through this ink tip. I sent him our log line, which is a 1-line description of the movie, and our synopsis, which is a 1-page. And I sent it to him. And usually either you don't hear anything or they say, thank you for submitting, not what we're looking for, good luck with the writing.
Right.
I hear that, 1,000 times
Probably
maybe?
quite
We've heard that?
often.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Because I've written 7 or 8 screenplays now, and a few of them have gotten some traction. Most of the time I don't hear anything. Well, Angus sends an email back and said, hey, this sounds interesting, send me the script, which we did. 2 weeks later, he sends us an email and says, I want to do this movie, and I want to star in it. And Joren and I are, yeah, right. Sure you are. All right.
So you didn't believe it
I
at
can't
first.
tell you how many times Steve would call me and say, yeah, someone tells me they're interested in our script. And we just go, okay, well, send it to them.
Yeah. What I usually do is I call Joren and say, hey, I submitted for 5 rejections today.
I understand.
So we were very dubious about this. And so we checked him out on IMDb Pro, and we looked on his website, Bridge and Acorn Productions. The guy's legit. He's originally from New Zealand. His wife's from Australia, moved to Southern Cal, and has been making movies for maybe, 10 years or so?
Yeah.
And he's a small, independent production company. And he grilled us a little bit. We vetted him. He vetted us. He grilled us on what kind of faith-based are we talking about here? What's the miracle about? Is this a true story? He asked us questions like that.
Right.
And that was in 2018, I think, is when we first started this ball rolling.
Yeah,
and
probably.
He told us, well, I'm going to put this in the queue. I've got 3 or 4 movies that I want to do, but your movie is 5th in line. I really love the script, but it's going to be 5th in line. And then about 2 months later, he emailed us again and said, let's do a Zoom call. I'm moving you up in the queue because I read this script and I absolutely love it and I think it needs to be made.
Nice.
And I want to shoot it in Celina.
Okay. Which is incredible.
Which is incredible because they're friendlier here. There's not as many rules and regulations to choke it off. It's cheaper than LA.
And then on that Zoom call, he said, okay, I'm moving you up to the 3rd in the queue. But then when he heard about Christmas on the Square,
right,
he said, oh my gosh, that's like 6 months from now. I'm moving you to the next in the queue.
Right.
Wow.
So he pushed us right up to the top. He said, I'm moving you to next in the queue if you can get us Christmas on the Square.
Yeah.
That's when I started talking to Joe Monaco right away.
So at this point, the excitement level's got to be like really starting to level up, and the reality that this may really happen is starting to just kind of.
Until I saw the trailer, I still didn't think this was going to happen. I mean, and I was on the set. I have a part in the movie. Joren has a part in the movie. And I thought, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be late for my radio show in San Jose, and it's going to be 1997.
I love it.
Right?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I still slap Steve around once in a while just to try to wake him up.
Right. Get him out of this dream he's in.
It's real. Wake up.
Okay, had Angus actually ever been to Celina?
No.
So you sold him on Celina.
Oh, yeah. And every single location that I scouted, I sent him pictures, and he goes, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, this is great.
Yeah,
this is
what
fantastic.
Is this? A postcard? Is this a real place? And we're like, yeah, and it's that beautiful. It looks that good. Oh, no, there's no place on earth that looks like this.
I'm sending him, pictures of the Celina High School Stadium. He couldn't even believe it.
I know.
Because, oh, my gosh, high schools in California don't look like high schools in Texas.
Yep, I understand. So here we are now. So has filming fully completed? Is it done?
Yeah, we shot last November.
And in the beginning of December.
Yeah. We hit the ground running, and we put in 12-hour days, and the actors lived with us for a while, and we got to meet the crew. A lot of the crew had worked on The Chosen, up in Oklahoma. And so we got to meet them. There were some great actors. One of our performers is Jessica. She lives in, help me.
And down in Fort Worth. Or no, she lives in Little Elm.
Yeah, Little Elm. Yeah, so there's a lot of local talent.
Right.
And we just put it together, and then they went away for a while. It was very quiet. And then all of a sudden, Angus comes back, and he says, okay, we're editing. We're in post-production. I will send you stuff as soon as I get it. And then he's been sending us previews and the first cut, and we had notes we sent back to him. And then the last version we saw was pretty. I mean, I got to tell you, Ron, and I was a big fish in a little pond in San Jose because in those days it was only 3 stations, so everybody knew me because I was doing a lot of commercials. So I had a little small celebrity background there. But when he sent us the video of the movie, and I saw my name on there with Joren as one of the screenwriters, I got chills.
It's amazing.
Didn't you?
My gosh.
I teared up.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I said, this is actually happening.
It's incredible.
This dream that we had, that we were going to have a movie made, is actually happening.
So I don't think that you probably, just like we in many ways, and I can say this to you guys and speak very comfortably about it, but we can't possibly always know what God's plan is and how he's going to use us in order to do what, his will, right? So in this case, I mean, you've got to just not only feel good about the fact that you guys were able to, pull together a movie and get it shot, and now we're facing, its release, and it's a big deal. And like I said, it looks incredible, but just the sheer fact that you don't even know how many lives this is going to impact in a positive way. There may be someone out there who right now isn't a believer that may become a believer. There may be people who are looking for some hope, and they may find it in this movie. There's just so many possibilities that you'll never even know all of them.
Right.
You don't even know the number of lives that your little dream that's just sprinkled with all of God's blessings is actually going to go out there and do. And that's just got to be incredible by itself. It makes me so happy. I'm so excited for you guys. It's great stuff. Now, I know that there's some connections to, you guys were at Celina High School. He did some filming there. There may be some, I heard something about maybe some scholarship type things, different things like that. So you want to fill me in on any of that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, it was pretty awesome that Celina ISD allowed us to use their facilities both at the high school and at the admin buildings for no charge. Although they did say, one thing that they would appreciate is if they'd let us use their facilities, they would certainly appreciate it if we, the production, would maybe provide a couple of scholarships to a couple of kids.
Nice.
And so we were able to do that.
What does this, where do we go from here? So the movie gets released, and what's next? Are we going to do a part 2? Are we going to do another movie? What's next? I know we're going to get Joren to move to Celina. We've got to work on that.
Yeah, he's going to wise up. He's going to get
right.
smart here
He's a
soon.
real estate guy. He's going to realize that Celina is where it's at.
Turkey Town 2, the poultry's revenge. I don't know. What can we do? But here's some good news, Ron. Talking about what's next. Angus Benfield, our producer, is so enamored with Celina that he's got 2 other movies that he's going to shoot here.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's what he's intending, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Love
pending. One is going to shoot in November, and then I think he's got one planned for next spring as
Very
well.
nice. That's
and they're
incredible.
coming back. He's coming back.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep writing stuff. I mean, I don't know if we're going to hit the jackpot a second time, but he's optioned another one of my scripts that he wants to shoot next year. And it's just been a great ride. And we talk to each other all the time, and we say, we never thought this would ever happen to us. I mean, and you talk about God's plan. I mean, you can look back, and God led us to Celina. He got us into the house that we're in. He is taking care of us. And he gave us the inspiration for this movie, which, as you say, I hope affects some lives.
Absolutely, and I believe that it will. I think this is You guys are you're truly living the dream, and in a really, really good way. And you guys have such a great relationship. Y'all have some really good chemistry together. And I don't know how much of that conveys since we're not doing video here. But what I would like to do at some point is to do some video. Maybe we talk a little bit after the movie is released. Maybe we get back together and let's talk about it again. See how all of that went. And I think it's just going to be fantastic, guys. So give me an idea. We've got Joren coming here. You've got a script coming up. We've got some amazing things going on. Is this the blessed life right now? Are we living it? Are we doing it right now?
No, Steve started this whole interview with that he's living the dream. And
yeah, and Joren got me a little plaque that says that, which I have on my desk in my office. Living the dream. It says it right there.
Love it. Well, guys, don't ever stop doing that because you're really good at it. And I thank you so very much for coming in here in this nice hot house right off the square and spending your time. And Celina is going to love the movie. We love the fact that you guys decided to come here and shoot the movie here, and we look forward to it. Certainly hope to see you guys at Christmas on the Square this year. Maybe
we will be there.
Oh, we're going to have a
Turkey Town booth.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. So it's going to be good stuff.
The tagline for the Great Turkey Town Miracle is, "This Thanksgiving, expect a miracle."
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Ron. Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Guys, what did you think about Steve and Joren? Now, I need to correct something real quick, and that is that Steve doesn't pronounce his last name Dini like I do, D-I-N-I, Dini. He pronounces it Dini. I just have a hard time saying Dini for some reason. So, Steve, my apologies, and now I'm going to have you back on the show in order to just pronounce your name properly throughout the podcast. So, my apologies for that. But you know what? I've got a second idea that might be actually a better idea. For those of you who don't know, I'm just going to give you a little hint right now. Celina Radio is actually about to go full-time online radio. And we may just have Steve Dini as one of the DJs on the show. He's got that old-time, old-school talent. He's got a great voice for radio. And he would just be fantastic for it. So, tiny little hint right there. But what'd you think about the chemistry between Steve and Joren? It's absolutely fantastic. And they have been able to take things in their own life, not all of them good and amazing and fun, and combine them together and turn all of those things into something that is going to be a blessing to so many people. We're very, very blessed to have them right here in Celina, Texas, and have the movie that they have helped create coming out very, very soon that features so much of Celina, Texas. And guys, we're all gonna wrap around this movie, and we're going to come together as a community, or at least that's my hopes. And we're gonna really, really support this thing. We've got some plans with the staff, the actors, Steve and Joren. We're going to do some fun things coming up closer to movie time, so be on the lookout for that. This is going to be fun, and it's just one more testament to how amazing Celina, Texas is. And you know what I always say, Celina is only as good as its people, and that means you, the people who are listening to this podcast right now. So thank you for being everything that is amazing about Celina, Texas. So guys, until next time, stay safe and God bless. Sorry, I just wanted to get one more plug in here for the Best of Celina group on Facebook. Not going to play any crazy music. I will after I finish talking, because I always do that. But right now, don't forget, go on Facebook, search the Best of Celina, and join the page. It's free, and it's awesome. and you're going to love it. So guys, I'll see you around town and definitely on the best of Celina.